Hey y'all, today's video we are doing 15 bookish facts. I have not seen anybody do these in quite a while, but they were one of my favorite videos to watch. It's just kind of a fun way to get to know someone. So I want you to comment your 15 bookish facts below, or if there's one of mine that you agree with or disagree with or you found funny. Fact number 1, paperback versus hardback books. I have an obsession with paperback books. There's something really pretty about the hardback books, but like reading a paperback book just feels so much better. I'm not sure why, but it just is like more bendable. I don't know, and they're easy to tote around. Fact number 2, we were not allowed to watch Harry Potter growing up. And I actually talk about this in my first Harry Potter reading vlog, so you should go and watch that. 3, I know this one is super controversial, but I like to write in and underline things in my book and dog-ear my pages. I know some people really hate that, but I love finding a book where people have marked the stuff they love in it or have written notes in it. I think it's the coolest thing to just see what like meant something to other people. 4, I don't use audiobooks or Kindles because I'm a snob. I just really like to have the actual physical book. I get if you're like have a really busy life and you can't sit down and read a book, that the audiobooks are nice. I have used them on road trips by myself before, but day-to-day life, I just don't like that feeling. Like I want to have the book in my hand. Number 5, my favorite place to read is by the water or in the water. I don't know if this is weird, but our apartment in Las Vegas had a pool. So I would go sit in the water and like read on the edge. It's just the most relaxing thing ever. If you haven't done it, I highly suggest you do. Or I love reading in the bathtub, or anytime we go to like the beach or the lake or something, always have to have a book with me. 6, the book is always better. Always. The movies don't ever live up to the hype of the books. Sometimes there are things they do better in the movies than they do in the book, but usually they lose all of the little important details that the book has, and it just doesn't measure up. Except for this book just about killed me to read. I don't know if I just am not smart enough for this book, but it took me ages to finish. It's like totally falling apart. I don't even know how this happened. But I really wanted to read this before the movie came out. And I really did love the storyline, but this guy has like a whole vocabulary that he made up, and I am not the smartest because I didn't realize until halfway through that all his definitions for things are in the back of the book. But guys, look at how many pages that is of just definitions of the words he's made up in this book. And even better, some of them will use like his own made up words in it. So like as you're reading a definition, you have to go and look up another word. I don't know, I just wasn't about it, but I did finish the book and the movie was beautiful. If you haven't watched the movie, I'm totally gonna overhype it right now, but you have to go and see it. You know how a lot of movies have like that one really cool cinematic shot? Well, I swear the entire movie of Dune is filmed that way, and they follow the book really, really well. As far as I can remember, I mean, like I said, it took me so long to finish it, but it matched the first half of the book as much as I could remember. So that is the only time I will ever say that the movie is better than the book. Number 7, when they talk about a song in a book, I have to look it up. It's just a great way to like get yourself in the mindset of what's going on in the scene. I thought this was the coolest thing, but I just read The Blood That Binds Us from S.L. Cockley. Not sure how to pronounce her last name. She is a new writer, and in the front of her book, she included a playlist, which I just thought was such a clever idea. Also, I found one of my favorite songs from the book Cherry. I honestly read this book because I heard that they were making this into a movie and that Tom Holland was going to star in it. no shame. But this book was actually really sad and heartbreaking, and the movie was just as upsetting. But anyway, they talk about the song Night on the Sun by Modest Mouse, and it's like one of my favorite. If you haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. 8. I am a sucker for any love story. If you've watched any of my reviews on past books, this is very obvious. I feel like that clip of Vanessa Hudgens where she's like, I love love. Number 9. I did AR in elementary school. I think it stands for accelerated reading. I think I also have a t-shirt from doing this because it was like kind of a big deal at my school. I'm not sure if anybody else, if this is like a typical thing to have in elementary. My husband's school did it, but if you don't know what AR is, you would read books. This sounds so nerdy. You would read books and then take tests on them, like who's the author, or what was this character's best friend's name? I don't know, weird things like that. Just random questions. My school actually had like competitions, so we would go and compete against other schools where instead of like taking the test on the computer, they would have a couple of us go up and they would ask us the questions, and the first one to answer correctly gets points. I feel like that's the nerdiest thing I've ever done, but I loved it. I'm not sure how well my team did. I like don't remember at this point, but I had a lot of fun doing it. Number 10. I actually used to write stories. If I can find some of them, maybe I'll read them for a video if I'm not too embarrassed about it. I was pretty good at starting a story or like making up stuff for the middle of a story, but I never knew how to end them. I think my little brother and I also started writing a story together too. So embarrassing. Number 11. I am really bad at Goodreads, but I really wanted to keep track of the things I have read and like my thoughts about them. So I have a book journal. This one was from Barnes & Noble. I honestly picked it out because I thought the cover of that was really cute. I'm not going to show you anything I've written in these, but this is what a blank page looks like. I honestly don't even really follow the prompts half the time. I'll just write whatever I want in the spaces. So when this is complete, I probably will not do something like this again. I'll probably just use a blank journal. I'm not very good with like sticking to the prompts. Number 12. Growing up, I've always wanted to have some random odd jobs like being a camp counselor or a lifeguard or working at a movie theater or working at a bookstore. I've never done any of those things, which is silly because I could have easily done any of those. I had made a comment about maybe getting a part-time job at a bookstore since we just moved to a new location and I am in a position where I don't have to have a full-time job. And my mom was like, why don't you open a bookstore? And I was like, I don't know why I've never thought of that. As soon as she said it, it made so much sense. So that is my goal one day, is to open my own bookstore. I know it won't happen for quite a while. It probably won't be until we like officially settle down somewhere, but I'm really excited for the potential of like one day having my own bookstore. Number 13, when picking out a purse, it has to be big enough to fit a book in it. There is nothing worse than being stuck somewhere without a book to read, so I always have to carry one with me wherever I go. Number 14. I am super jealous of all of you that can read in the car. I can't do it. I get so car sick. There have been a couple of road trips that my mom and I have gone on together, and we'll typically pick out a book for our trip and we'll take turns reading it to each other, and I can only make it like a chapter before I have to stop and give myself a break, or I get really sick and it's the worst feeling. And number 15, my last bookish fact is I used to love the Scholastic Book Fair. I thought it was like the most exciting thing when it would come up at school. And I was always really sad when I couldn't pick out like 20 different books from the little like pamphlet things they would give you. There was one year that I got a book about horses. I love horses and I used to take horseback riding lessons, but I picked out this horse book one year and it came with friendship necklaces that were little horseshoes. It had like little gems in them, so it was sparkly. And somehow I accidentally threw them away, We like got our books in class and I think I took the wrapper off of it and threw it away. Didn't realize I had thrown the necklaces away with them. So in the middle of class, my teacher let me basically dig through the trash can to find these necklaces. It was me and my best friend. I don't know if she remembers this, but the teacher let us lay a trash bag down on the floor and we dumped out the trash and sorted through it until we found these necklaces. And that is why she was my best friend. Okay guys, that was all of my bookish facts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I would really love to get to know you guys too. So leave your facts down below and I hope to see you guys next Wednesday.